Absolutely fantastic piece about Rekkles. He's one of the few players in Europe that everybody's been following since before he joined the LCS. He was too young to compete. Everybody knew him. He's bounced between multiple teams. And I think you know Rekkles better than most, considering you've been around even longer than this young guy has. But it's good to hear him and his personal opinion saying he's grown, he's learned. It's not only about him, it's about the team.
I think it's good that he finally gets a chance to share his side of the story. He doesn't usually strike me as a person who likes to go to social media, share his insight, and needs his time to learn and adapt. And he's very young. He started esports so young, and he matured a lot over the time. And let's not just forget, he's a fantastic player in addition to that. It was really fun laning with him. Sadly, I was too heavy. That's why I'm here. But a fantastic player. Let's see how he does with one of the best, if not the best support in Europe. Yellowstar.
Well, we're about to find out. Yellowstar, of course, captaining Fnatic, and that will bring us to the first of 2 Fnatic matchups against SK Gaming in the summer split. And this is going to be huge because both of these teams have changed their respective AD carries. Fnatic going back to Rekkles, SK going back to Candy Panda. But the results on day one could not have been further apart. It appears to have been near opposites in terms of how they showed up yesterday.
Yeah, but we made a mistake earlier today judging on day one. And then misjudging some teams there, Trevor. So let's see how that plays out. But yes, SK looked weak, in my opinion. And Fnatic, they looked like a stronger version of themselves. Very calculated and meticulous. And I want to see if they continue that trend and stay the #1 team in Europe.
Well, we'll find out. Let's take a look at that Fnatic roster to kick us off in the next game today. It is, of course, Huni in the top lane, Reignover in the jungle, Febiv in mid, Rekkles, the man we just watched the video on, as the AD carry, Yellowstar supporting with Daylor, the coach. One thing that really stands out about yesterday's games is just how coordinated Fnatic looked. One of the tower dives very early on in the game in this top lane is just so beautifully played, Crepo.
Yeah, you don't even have to say too much. Just watch where the tower goes. Every shot, Rekkles goes out, tower resets, hold, 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 minions, minions, minions. Tank takes it, tank takes one more shot, tank takes one more shot, taps out.
And it's just, it's interesting because we know that there's multiple languages in the team. We know that there's, they're still learning between themselves.
But this is game sense. You don't have to talk to do this. You know that the priority has to be on the tanks. You want to hold. And yes, stop and go. That's easy to communicate, but to execute it, in theory, it's all nice. When we were watching this, of course you have to do that, Trevor.
Yeah.
But then it gets rough once you get in the game. I've screwed up a tower dive in my career, maybe more than one, and it's really, really rough to execute. And the one thing I want to highlight, though, at the same clip, Kalista was farming in the bot lane. Freeze didn't work out. Not a fan. Just want to reiterate that. Okay. Stop freezing lanes. Stop
freezing lanes, according to Crepo. The other 2 people that stood out was, of course, Huni and Reignover. Huni not getting the usual amount of farm that he does, but Reignover, 100% kill participation. Huni had the flashy Gnar ultimates, but in my opinion, Huni was the MVP of that game, just everywhere on the map, sticking to Unicorns of Love like glue.
Yeah, they basically carried so hard that Rekkles didn't even have to do much. He just did his duties, what was required of him. Yep. Sit in the back, do some damage, try some arrows. Little improvement on accuracy possible there, but he has the room to improve because Fnatic just paves the way for him. He has a solid jungler and a solid top laner, and I'm a big fan of Reignover because he's what I call a really good tempo jungler. He keeps up the pace, always knows what to do, thinks 2 steps ahead, and it just shows why Fnatic is just so good at what they do. They always have something ready.
Well, catchphrase of the week is, of course, the tempo teams. Let's take a look if SK can find some tempo. Their roster coming into today's game will be Freddy up top, Sven in the jungle, Fox in the mid lane, Candy Panda in the AD carry role with in-rated support, and, of course, their coach, the sports psychologist, Material Boy. Individually, I think the team really underperformed. They seemed to struggle. They didn't seem to get really where we expect them to be.
The one person I can't really fault for yesterday's Svenskeren. He got invaded out, couldn't really stop it. Dodged some nice bindings, really tried to make some plays, but just couldn't because they were behind. But then at the same time, if we're going to take a look at the 2v2 bot lanes, in my opinion, Rekkles and Yellowstar now are stronger 2v2 than in Rated and Candy Panda. However, is that going to prompt a swap from SK? And we've seen that their lane swap style was very linear at the same time. Fnatic is kind of better lane swaps too. What is SK going to do to get out of this? Are we going to see some cheese or just a normal play and hope to outplay? What is SK going to bring to the table? Because they've said we want to go back to what worked. Is it going to work?
Well, we'll have to find out. Stress had a great line yesterday. The SK of old does not work in the Europe of new. And at least in the one game we've seen, it didn't work out. Remember, of course, Candy Panda replacing Forgiven in that AD carry role. Down a significant amount of CS. He's 26 CS behind at 10 minutes. In contrast, Gambit, Forgiven playing for Gambit, he was actually 17 CS up. So
yesterday was even.
In yesterday's games, today was even. Let's see if Candy can pick up. tempo in today's matchups. Pick some bans for another matchup here, Crepo. Where is the priority in your mind? We've seen Azir taken off the table against Febiven ever since MSI. I wouldn't be surprised to see it in maybe a Cassio ban towards Fox.
No idea, honestly. I'm just gonna wait. I did enough predictions today. I'm just gonna watch and see how this goes. Now, let's see. Picks and bans these days are very reactive, right? So SK takes out the Hecarim staple from Huni, that's nice. Fnatic opens up with an Urgot ban. This puts more value. So once one counterpart gets banned out, there's more value in the opposite, right? So when Urgot comes out, Kalista becomes a little higher value, but there's still Sivir that hasn't really been played well yet in the European CS. Really quick pick and ban phase. Daylor is putting the heat on SK. Really calculated bans here.
Focusing onto Fox as well. LeBlanc off the table, Castan off the table. It means Azir's up, Cassio's up. Junglers left untouched. Gragas is available if Reignover wants to get his hands on the Fat Man, and he's done such great work. Until this last ban coming out, it will be the Gragas. So, Sejuani and Rek'Sai. We've seen Reignover also doing phenomenal work with Rek'Sai. We've seen a number of Rek'Sai bans. What if Fnatic prioritizes?
Is SK scared of the Kalista first picks and tells Fnatic, hey, we're banning Gragas because we want you to pick Rek'Sai first, we really wouldn't want you to get that Kalista? Or are they saying, well, take Kalista and then at least we'll get one of the two strong junglers in Rek'Sai and Gragas? Rek'Sai could be a good pick for Reignover, I like it, but maybe Svenskern has an answer ready. I do like Rek'Sai into Kalista then, if the mirror swap happens, because you can just flash knock up and just CC him down, or her down rather.
Imagine if this is how many options Crepo's pointing out with these 5 guys on stage you're talking about, with Daedal in the background trying to guide them all. You know, they've got a multitude of options, and somewhat as expected that Rek'Sai is locked in.
I think it's a solid choice, because we don't even know if Candy Panda really wanted that Kalista, right? Looks like a bait, you know, banning Gragas, saying, hey, take Rek'Sai, we have a plan. Not sure what Svensk's gonna play. He's gonna pick up Lee Sin again? Likely. Sejuani doesn't look too likely. Azir is still open, but Febiven has shown that a very potent mid laner. And here's the Kalista. Yeah, you definitely don't want to give up Rek'Sai and Kalista at the same time.
So, SK Gaming still to lock in the champions. 30 seconds left.
I don't like the hovering.
All of the priorities. I'm going to take another step back. Considering Rumble and Hecarim is off the table for Huni, where do the top laners decide to go? Maokai is up, Nara is up. Huni had such a great night performance yesterday. It's hard to think of something else being in his hands.
Yeah, Huni can play both sides of the matchups fine. He's not worried. Worst case, he'll pick up some weird solo queue pick that he's practiced off the books, because this guy champion pool is probably limitless. And yes, really nice picks. I like Kalista, I like Azir, but they just gave Fnatic a possible extra 35 seconds to prepare for this round of picks. And why would you do that? Why would you hover that? You can literally not pick anything and then pick it at the last second. It's minute. It doesn't really matter too much, but in the pick and ban game, now that it's evolving and you have those coaches involved, I really want teams to pay a little more attention to that.
I'm a big fan of that, because it was something that the casters at MSI were debating off air. The merits of the psych out and whether or not you should hover something to bait a discussion potentially and then swap at the last second to what you intend. There is a lot of psychological mind games that we literally can't convey because we're not in the players' heads or listening to their comms through their entirety. Ends up being the Alistair for Yellowstar, the Nart for Huni, Fnatic playing almost standard, leaving the carries for last.
I like the Alistair pickup, has been proven to work really well for everybody except maybe Unrated so far in the first few games of this European LCS summer split. Really good champion, solid. Gets through any laning phase with sustain. If you can manipulate the wave to push towards you, usually is possible. Good roaming potential, good dive potential, and yeah, another tank. So Fnatic innately very tanky in their first 3 picks. So they'll need to get some damage out of the last 2.
Well, we know that both Reckless and Febiven can put a ton of damage down, depending on the route they want to go. SK, they're going to decide 2 more picks.
And made it not the biggest Thresh player. Has played Tsunami in the past, going to be too squishy. If we look at the Nidalee here, we get a nice poke and siege centric composition with no tank. Does that mean Enraged is going to pick up Nautilus? Leaving support for the last pick.
Well, dramatic in the background. That's it. Maokai locked in for Freddy. So it is the Gnar Maokai matchup.
Yep.
Top lane carries, main sort of primary carries taken off, so therefore fall back to disruption and heal champions. Svenskeren not really getting his hands on those traditionals, but it is basically more of the same. Reckless, second Ashe game of the summer split. The Azir Cassiopeia has been something that Crepo, you have been talking about so much on this patch. No Sivir, just as a note, just as an aside, I think we've seen it once. We've got the Fnatic comp rounding it out.
The problem is, I think Sivir, if you're just looking at Fnatic's side, would have been so incredibly good here. But Fnatic wants to take the 2v2, I think. They want to snowball Huni into Freddy rather, and they're fine taking the 2v2 because Ashe can stay at bay. Worst case, once the trade is going poorly, you can at least stop the Kalista, knock her out, she has to hop back in. It's hard to miss that pulverize if you're right on top of her, and knowing Enraided's champion pool, there might not be a good answer. He's going for the Bard. Enraided, make me proud.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for a magical journey.
Let's see how this plays out.
The Bard Master himself. Round out the SK composition for me.
No, let's not round that out. Let's just focus on the Bard right now. Really, really potent 2v2. I think this actually might prompt a swap from Fnatic. Bard is incredibly good against these non-mobile champions like Alistar, like Ashe. They walk up, you Q them. If they're near to a wall, they get stunned. If somebody tries to tank the skill shot, you know, where Miffy takes the hook. Not possible with Bard. They'll just chain through, stun you. You try to hide in minions. No, it's not going to happen. Q goes right through and stuns you anyways. But is that going to happen? Let's see how well Enraided has practiced his Bard. Bard excels in auto-attack trading. Kalista excels when somebody auto-attack trades with you. It's all perfect synergy. Very potent lane. However, one tank on SK side. That worries me.
I'll find out whether or not Freddy's Maokai will be strong enough this particular game. Bard is locked in for the first time in the summer split. The coaches taking to the middle of the stage. Daylor and Material Boy both shaking hands for the first time of Fnatic versus SK, what was the headline clash of 2014 many, many times. I'm excited to see how this matchup plays out. I know we've discussed Bard so much this week. And Mr. Smug Crepo on the side is somewhat of the biggest Bard fanboy. You guys at home, tell us. Hashtag FMC win or hashtag SK Bard win. Let us know. Let's
not tunnel too much on the Bard. Let's just give him a brief introduction. It is a new champion, hasn't been played in the LCS yet. What does Bard excel at? Let's get the crowd give their moment.
Well, we're about to find out, aren't we? That's us loading onto the rift. Fnatic on the blue side, SK on the red side. Observers, I'm sure you'll be keeping your eyes on Bard, and they are. Take us on a magical journey Enraided.
So let's see how good Enraided is. Is he going to pick up the chimes early, like the novice Bard would, or is he going to leave them up, stack them up, get 5 of them, and roam into the mid lane for a nice little play there? Later in the game, though, the engages with Bar ulti will be crucial because Febiven does not have flash, does not have any mobility except for flash. Ashe does not have any mobility except for flash. If you can land the Bard ultimate on top of them, keep them in place, give them an involuntarily Zonias, and then group your team on top of them and immediately blow them up. This can be absolutely devastating for SK. However, you have to land them.
Well, we'll see how close those skill shots can land and whether or not Enraided can temper SK's fate.
The Bard bus is coming.
The Bard
choo-choo.
Right, SK, they have found Febiven. Febiven's in trouble. The Cosmic Binding is going to get the slow, the flash forward. That's going to be first blood to the Flash Ignite. And it was just the Meep empowered auto attack first, then the Cosmic Binding, which actually missed. And Enraided.
Zoning Cosmic Binding.
Zoning Cosmic Binding.
Master of the
Zoning into the Ignite?
Zoning into the Ignite.
Well, all jokes aside, for the first time seeing Bard, it's difficult to imagine a more interesting start to the game.
Definitely shakes things up there, Trev. Alright, they're predicting lane swap, initiating lane swap, not quite sure what they're doing. That's why Enraided picked up the chimes on the bottom side. Chimes usually spawn around where you are at the map, you know, there's an AI to it. Double Golem's being taken here by Fnatic. They know SK is lane swapping and they're opting to take control of the right side of the map, avoiding this lane somehow. Not quite sure what the mind games here are, who's mind gaming who, but let's just see how this evolves.
We'll have to take a close eye. Yesterday Fnatic did the 4v0 against Unicorns of Love. You don't see Sven making a strong move at the moment, but Enraided picking up little meeps around the map.
I'm not a fan of picking it up. I'd rather leave them up and then chain them one by one so you can move and roam a lot quicker. There's no value. You don't need that mana right now. I know it's nitpicking, but Bard excels at these rapid movement plays where you can arrive at positions and locations quicker than your opponents expect them to. It's not. It upgrades at 5 stacks, but that's enough about Bar. Let's see how Fnatic reacts. They're down 500 gold, but they got ideal lanes. Ashe wants to scale, wants to get the arrow. You know, Alistar wants to get to level 6 to get that innate tankiness. They've divided the map in half. There is no aggressive counter jungling from Svenskeren because both teams have got a part of the jungle. Let's see how this plays out.
So we do see Rainover moving back into his jungle, starting off the Brambleback, got the assist of Huni. Top laners holding the hands of their junglers. You can see Sven and Freddy chilling in the Tribush top lane. They're going to make their way onto Fnatic's tower. Fnatic going to be late and undermanned if they eventually get to their tower. You can see Rainover making his way there along with Gnar.
It doesn't matter that Fnatic's a little slower here because SK has no idea where the Fnatic members are. They can take their time. Yes, they might be slow on the push, but Freddy will never teleport blind into that tower. A little bit more tempo advantage. Here we go. Magical Journey. And this is Bard, boys. I would have liked him keeping that Magical Journey once he actually gets to the mid lane. Surprise maybe somehow, but
he's doing it for the observers, for everybody at home.
Doing it for the fans at home. Let's see if they bounce the wave correctly.
Well, we're about to find out. Javelin Toss does not connect from Svenskeren. Fnatic are going to secure the tower in a moment or two. As
Good bounce by Candy Panda.
Is forced to take a couple turret shots, but successfully handles the minion wave.
If you're watching and you have no idea what a bounce is, it basically means that you let the enemy creeps outnumber yours, and then because the location of where the waves meet, it will stack up even more. Snowball effect, and the lane will push it back to you, and that's what you want. You want farm coming to you, not farm escaping from you. Safety under your own turret.
So, strong start then for SK. They have got the tower. Reckless is trying to do the same.
He has to hurry to base really quickly.
He may be able to. Fnatic should get the dragon because of the numbers advantage they have on the bottom half of the map. And the long-range Magical Journey, saving some time there for Candy Panda and Rated. Crepper, I was talking to you about how that interaction works. Some of the different locations. He'll definitely have to keep us in tune with what sort of ganking or pathing opportunities Rated can provide.
Yeah, definitely a lot of different possibilities with that Magical Journey where you can go. The main thing is that you can take... No, guys, Steve is not playing this game. That's Alan.
Oh, I like that one. So yeah, brief pause as we do see...
and Rated not quite happy with the magicalness of his journey. Wants it to have more magic.
We will find out
pixie dust,
how much pixie dust he can pick up. I do want to ask your opinion in terms of moving around the map to pick up those little chimes as far as Bard is concerned.
So,
in your opinion, when is the right time and why?
First of all, what do the chimes do? If you do not know, 12% of your maximum mana pool gets restored when you pick up a chime. That means 2 chimes is roughly a quarter. Yes, I did the math there. That basically means that you lane, poke, spam your Qs, get your health packs out, spam them on the lane, and once your mana bar is empty, you go pick up these chimes in succession. And each chime gives you a movement speed boost out of combat that lasts up to 5 stacks. That means you can get 1 chime, second goes a little quicker, third goes a little quicker. If you then run into the mid lane, your movement speed is so high that you can close the gap on the mid laner, maybe force his flash because you auto-attack's now slow from 5 chimes and onwards, or you can get back to your lane quicker. It is not worth it going for 1 chime and back, 2 chimes and back, you know? You want to do that in a very smooth motion and tie it into a roam play. And this is why I like, for example, CDR boots on Bard, but different players like different things. I don't think many players in competitive actually use the CDR boots, went for the mobility boots. But Enrated here picked up the early sidestone. I really like that.
Compliments of the early first blood as well.
Yeah, got the first blood. Translates that into vision. Vision is knowledge. Knowledge is power. Great.
With great power comes great responsibility.
It does indeed.
So we'll have to see whether or not Enrated can make this Bard work for him. I do want to talk about some of the other picks there, of course. The Cassio, the Ashe, you've touched on how they are immobile when they do not have their flash available. You're a big fan of the Tempered Fate, the Bard ultimate, sort of putting them in as Zhonya's to set up the gank from the likes of Amalkite, from, of course, getting in range for that Azir.
Let's see what's happening on the map here. Towers go down, and Fnatic does a smart thing. They took the dragon, so there are no more objectives that they have to worry about on the bottom side of the map. They don't want to lane 2v2, especially not at this level. This is where the lane Kalista Bard is extremely strong, and they do the smart thing. They swap over to top lane. They will not be able to deny Freddy. They'll step on his health packs, deny him some potential HP later, but they want to work on this tower.
And of course, those health packs, the caretaker shrines give that movement speed increase if you do want to set something up. We've got an early teleport from Huni here. He's actually going to complete it, and that's going to push Freddy away from the farm.
And this may look really weird, but it's an incredibly smart play by Fnatic, because Svenskeren and then Raiden were hiding in the jungle. If Huni went for farm, he would have gotten caught. So either he zones himself and does nothing, or he uses his TP to keep up the tempo. He goes top, and they force that tower down. Freddy can definitely farm 1v2 under that tower, soak up a lot of XP, and that would mean that the experience gap between Freddy and Huni would become very big. However, using this teleport, when Dragon is still 5 minutes away from spawning, when nothing else is really gonna happen, is incredibly smart by Fnatic. Aggro here on Forbidden has the defensive flash, but tower trade for Fnatic in a position where other teams may have lost their tower on bottom and not gained one on top. Really, really good teleport by Huni, I have to stress that. See if Reckless can bounce this wave yet again and get Huni back in the game, now that they can swap back to bot lane.
Well, tower's about to go down.
Yeah, it'll bounce regardless. At this amount of minions, it's gonna bounce. Reckless gets the local gold, goes to base, 43 CS. Might upgrade his boots at this position.
So, very tactical game thus far from both Fnatic and SK. Trading objectives, making the best of what they can.
He's staying top, actually.
Small goal difference, thanks of course to first blood on the hands of SK. But as you pointed out, Fnatic got the early dragon as they had the bottom half of the map under control.
Yeah, and Reckless rightfully scared from the Kalista bar lane, stays on the top lane. Can't deny Maokai 1v1 though. We're in a bit of an awkward position, so Fnatic will have to react to this. Definitely a lot better early game from SK Gaming than we've seen yesterday. Going back to the pick and ban phase, we said last pick support. Was it worth it?
Now we know why.
Now we know why, indeed.
Is it that risky to pick Bard earlier in the draft? Or
Played into anything, with anything. Or at least I can.
I like that. A nice bout of confidence there from Crepo.
One trick pony, man. That's all I have left, my Bard.
Well,
I'm
glad you have all the info, because it makes my job so much easier. You just see Rainover in his own jungle, slightly ahead Svenskeren, but with all the shenanigans back and forth moving across the map, keep an eye on the vision as well. SK with some deep wards to spot out Rainover. A couple of wards up in the north, top half of the jungle in favor of
Fnatic making the best of a worse situation, but Alistar Gnar is not something you want on the bot lane. Rainover may have overextended here a bit.
Well, Javelin toss is connected.
The Shurima Shuffle comes in and he gets Rainover.
So well played. Assist in there for Fox, and it's Candy Panda that gets the kill secure. SK responding to Rainover's position instantly.
Yeah, so we went on Twitter and got some of those names, and we're gonna see what works, what doesn't for that Azir insect move.
I know you've got a few more, Will.
Yeah,
leave them to be discovered as and when Fox can activate the Crepo puns.
No, not mine. I just borrowed them from Twitter.
Okay, Crepo delivered puns. You prefer that?
Exactly.
There we go. Trademarked Twitter. Thank you for that.
I think SK is doing really well here with their composition. Definitely caught Fnatic off guard. They're in a position where whatever they do is the wrong thing almost. Sending Ashe alone in this lane is not ideal, but it's the least out of bad solutions. And that's always an awkward position to be in. And SK definitely in the driver's seat here. See if they can snowball big of a lead to overcome the ticking time bomb that is Cassiopeia scaling, the new Ashe scaling, but by no means does SK have to worry about the late game either.
Yeah, considering the performances of day one,
vast difference.
You can't compare it. It's like two different teams, but one game sample sizes. They are
not enough.
Simply too limited to make any sort of conclusions. Bevervin's been in this middle lane. He gave up first blood, was forced to flash off
four-man group
presence from Svenskeren, and SK have thrown everybody into this middle lane. Right, I'm expecting an arrow if the observers are highlighting this. What else can it produce? It catches onto Fox. Rainover is trying to flash forward, but he gets knocked backwards by the Emperor's Dividal, blocked out by it.
Smart play by Fox. He took that on purpose, I think, because he has cleanse, and he immediately cleansed out, and then he has the Shurima Shuffle, we call it earlier, or just the normal Azir ulti to disengage here, and SK keeps the pace up. 700 gold in the lead.
Importantly,
fight on bot lane maybe?
Tower is defended. It did cost Rainover his flash. Reckless obviously no access to that Crystal Arrow, and Rated and Svenskeren Cosmic Binding is available. The Javelin Toss doesn't connect, nor does the Binding. Need to connect with those skill shots, and SK do not Fnatic get away unscathed.
Right, skill shots at the wrong time. Nice dodges by Fnatic.
Just get out of the way. So, SK back away, hold on to a small lead, as we've just crossed over the 10-minute mark. The big thing here, look at the top lane, is still heavily hurting as far as CS is concerned, and we'll need to track who can have a bigger impact as this game plays out.
But because SK is playing with so much pressure, for SK, making a mistake right now means that they don't get a kill. For Fnatic, making a mistake means that they get killed, and that's the difference right here. SK has a lot of liberty with their plays, while Fnatic is under pressure, and if they make one mistake, they lose control of the game completely. So, burden of the outplay is on Fnatic here.
Another great line to describe how the teams have to continue playing the game out. We did see Fnatic taking out that pink ward, while I believe SK secured a green of their own.
Dragon is alive. TP is up on Freddy and on Huni. We said earlier, he TP'd within range of Dragon spawn, so he definitely has it up. And I think this is where Fnatic wants to excel. That 5-man teamfight initiated with Arrow. Cassiopeia has flash, so she can channel her ulti and then flash for the immediate petrify.
Well, we do see Fnatic. They've started the Dragon off. It looks like SK is starting to group.
Teleport is peeling.
Has just started to be channeled here from Freddy. What sort of impact can he have? Reignover has decided to back away. Cosmic Binding does not slow or route anybody together, but look at Febiven, level 9.
He's zoned out.
From the side, he's not with his team. Crystal Arrow is still available, and I think Dragon is fully reset. There was a magical journey just over through there. Febiven does not get caught up, doesn't get rooted. Petrifying only stuns Enrated, but Candy Pan is going to rend. He does get caught up, and Huni is looking, stuns him against the wall. This is a battle on two fronts. Enrated's low. Candy Panda and Sven get knocked up in the air, while Reignover is pulling all of the attention. Candy Panda is still alive. Yellow Star's looking for him, but he's not able to find him. They've been able to cut down the tree of Freddy, but Candy Panda gets another kill on the board, and we see the Tempered Fate holding Reckless and Reignover in place. Fox throws down the Conquering Sands just a tiny bit early, but he manages to get the kill nonetheless, and SK come out with a 4-for-1 trade.
Fnatic were the kings of the spring split, and in return, Enrated offers them a golden crown, but that's not what they wanted. They lose this fight and the Dragon, and they go behind 2,000 gold here.
What a fantastic team fight.
Let's look at that again.
SK.
What versus to watching this fight is Freddy and Candy Panda here. He throws in a Raiden. No respect flash from Febiven. He gets slowed, hit. He should have flashed immediately. He knows he's cut out. Nice follow-up flash from Candy Panda. Gets hit. Huni says, guys, I got 2 targets here. Yellow Star recognizes that, but watch Freddy. He's soaking up so much damage. And we saw it with Steve earlier. Maokai behind, so much utility. Huni behind, not enough damage. Beautifully executed fight by SK Gaming, to the surprise of many.
Fantastic, and even the prediction from Enrated on Reignover and Reckless.
And this is why I like it so much against carries with no flash. Either they juke backwards into your team, or they keep walking and they get the Zhonya's by surprise, and they're dead anyways. It's 100% kill rate in either way, and love it. Absolutely loving it, Trev.
The golden crown for the kings of the spring split. Somebody needs to put that in a graphic, because that was fantastic, Trappo. So, battle over the Scuttle Crabs. Svenskaren's got...
He's got again. Here's the journey.
Here comes the magical journey. Yellow Star's following through. Ash Arrow's onto Sven. Reignover's joined the party. Everybody's knocked up. We do see Fate's Call pulling out Enrated, but he flings himself right back in. Nobody's gone down just yet, but here comes Fox. Febiven's caught out. He's managed to petrify Enrated and Candy Panda, and Fox is being poisoned alive. Reignover plus Febiven sink their fangs in, but Candy bites back.
When he comes in with the teleport for round 2.
50% of that Mega Gnar bar is on the way. Do you see a very short-range magical journey as Huni follows through? I love Bard's journeys. Reignover is going to get rooted with Huni, and the Korean duo are unable to chase further. I love these team fights.
If you chase a Bard, do it 1 by 1, or the Q will screw over the enemy, like your ally behind you. Do it 1 by 1 by 1. Otherwise, it's gonna get tricky. And Raiden mistimed the teleport on Huni there, but he's still got a second chance of doing it. Yellow Star's going down.
Well, Svenskeren, he gets knocked over the wall, but the volley doesn't connect. Huni and Reckless try to get past.
Nice
the Tempered Fate doesn't connect, and somehow Reignover was able to solo Enrated just on the back line. Fnatic get themselves their 3rd kill of the game, and they've closed that gold gap to 1,000 between the two.
The reason these fights are so interesting is because both lineups are incredibly potent at kiting and not so great at chasing. If you kite with Bard and you walk into that stun, you immediately get turned on. If you get kited by Cassiopeia, you get hit, get knocked up. Both these teams like want to fan out, but they're afraid of going at each other because Azir is so good at kiting poking, Candy Panda is on Kalista is so good at kiting poking, so you have to be willing to drop the fight, because if you overchase, you will get turned on, and it's not going to be pretty.
So, 15 minutes, as we said, about 1,000 gold, 2 towers each, 1 dragon each. CS is all but even. with the exception of those junglers. Big changes.
Crystal Enchanted Arrow is going to be absolutely vital. Reckless is hiding in the dark. Who's he going to hit?
Thinking about getting Candy Panda, but
can't hit.
Holds the trigger for now.
Really important.
50% of that cooldown slowly ticking away as far as Fox is concerned. Morella Nomicon picked up. So there's that Ether Wisp. Abyssal Scepter was the completion for Febiven and SK. They want their last outer turret, Crepo. Teleport's not available for Huni. Meganar's popped and he's ages away.
Really good siege composition by SK Gaming. While they lack one tank, they gain extra siege power. Azir incredibly potent at sieging. Nidalee Spear is really hard to dodge while you're trying to clear waves. Reminiscent of when Forgiven and Ghostly Pepper were pushing in. If you have to go for those minions, you're gonna eat skill shots. You don't want to eat those skill shots from Svenskeren right now. Those spears, they hurt.
That's definitely the case.
Also,
just very quickly, the gold difference between AD carries, 1,500 gold between Candy Panda and Reckless. Candy's sitting on the advantage he has, so that's going to translate to more power very shortly.
You invest in a Bloodthirst to stay tanky and have a lot of lifesteal in these long, tight, heavy fights. One thing about Bard 2, when you're diving, towers become optional. You can choose to let a tower use his Zhonya's. No more targets, no more shots for 2.5 seconds. Can really turn fights. If you dive somebody and you get 2 people plus a tower, and the ultimate, that dive suddenly becomes a 5v3 in the open. Very potent ability, very high risk, high reward.
It's interesting to see SK can not only spawn their own towers, they can disable opponents' towers. We'll see how they play it out. Also, Candy Panda gone for the Zeal as well as Brawler's Glove, so he's not going for the Hurricane build that we've seen out of most Killisters this weekend.
Yeah, I want to see an Oathbreaker, Trevor.
Why? You've got Bard. He's got a built-in one.
Yeah, more. No, but yeah, the Kalista build, BT first into Zeal, just wants to stay alive and not get bursted. I can respect it. The only problem is he gonna stack enough of that, you know, Bloodthirster passive up before a fight? Because there's a lot of pacing for this fight. Is he gonna find minions and monsters to stack that up? We'll see.
Yeah, we will see, because Dragon's coming up in 50 seconds.
It's going to be a big fight again.
The previous Dragon was very influential. One apiece, so we're not racing to Khaleesi or number 5 anytime soon.
No, they can definitely take it on the back foot here. Wouldn't be surprised if, given the way this game has been evolving, given the state of the side lanes, Fnatic will just straight up drop this Dragon. They're sending... See, this is what I like. They're sending Rain over, deal with that Dragon. Yes, they have teleport, or almost up on Huni, but they opted to just send their jungler there because he has a built-in teleport on his ultimate, on her ultimate.
12 seconds until we can see the Void Rush coming out of Reignover's Rek'Sai. Dragon is up in about 10, so it will be available. There's a few tunnels nearby, and it will take a little while longer. SK on a heavy invade, and then just got clearing out these tunnels, so that option of pulling Rek'Sai in going to become more limited.
And Freddy's already walked down. This buys more time, so that doesn't mean... If there's a lot of pacing going back and forth, he doesn't have to TP in at any time. He can just wait here and TP out. Reignover used his ulti.
Meganar is getting very close. It's too late,
just gonna have to drop this.
Fnatic unable to respond to Dragon number 2, so relatively safe attempt. He's popped to Meganar. The Rater takes a nice long journey to get to safety. Fnatic grouping up now in this middle lane. Good wave clear from Fox. Javelins from the side. Svenskeren spreading Fnatic apart and dissuading any sort of further pressure on that middle lane.
I think we'll see a complete reset here. They're getting the Dragon Icon. Just getting that pink ward moving down the bottom. And again, both these teams like controlling their side lanes. I think that's what's going to happen right now. No real reason to fight. And however, European LCS, none of us needed a reason to fight.
Which is why we love watching it, Crepo.
Sometimes we do. Yeah, they're moving in for deep vision. SK always has the opportunity to get the deep vision first because they have the pressure and a lot of these poke and CG sustain. And Ashe is still scaling.
Well, just so there's a brief update. 36 chimes collected for N-rated thus far.
That's a lot.
I do want to quickly highlight, as we hit 20 minutes, again, that's only 1,000 gold, but look at the big items. Righteous Glory picked up for Freddy. Luden's Echo picked up for Fox. Archangels was completed for Febiven, as well as the Shiv for Candy Panda. So a few sort of breakpoints have started to get put into place.
This is a reason that
survivability is going to be more interesting as the fights break out.
Didn't really like this Ashe pick too much. It has some damage, but it's so immobile. In addition to an immobile mage, control mage in the mid lane, having a double threat composition where like Huni's a bit of a hybrid but you have the lane swap, so he's not really a threat. Without any escapes, it's tricky. Really, really tricky.
Tricky means interesting, and I'm okay with that. Yellow Star is going to fire. Here's the arrow. Sven's caught out. Tempered Fate comes up. That's going to keep Sven alive for a few seconds longer. Emperor's Divide knocks them back. Now Rainova's looking for the next target. It's Reckless that got the kill. The house lands onto Fox. Flash nod does not connect as Fox responds in kind. Now Freddy has got knocked up in the air. He's now going to try back away. He flashes over the minions. The tower might be the next focus as the Sand Soldiers come up. Look at that damage from Fox. They finally get Freddy knocked out as
beautiful
jumps in. Petrifying Gaze freezes up SK Gaming. They do get the mid tower, and Fnatic end up trading 1 for 3 the tower, and let's see if they can take more.
Looks like I was wrong about this. Ash, really nice opening created by Reckless. Nice follow-up. Yes, this only has worked, but everybody just stood still watching. So time basically froze, and then that ultimate has no use if it's only one target. Everyone's just watching Svenskern die. He used his flash, still died. SK had to disengage and not lose any more members because they started this fight basically 4.2 against 5, and Svenskern had to jump out, and really, really not ideal. Nice snowball from Fnatic. Other teams could have maybe backed off, but they were confident in their diving ability, closed out some more kills, and got a tower. Really, really crucial point in the game.
All right, we'll see whether or not they can keep that one up. So many people jumping on top of one another. We got some exciting team fights. The vision is something that we haven't touched on all too much for the time being, but we do need to highlight Mikhail's Crucible just picked up for N-rated against Petrifying Gaze, against Enchanted Crystal Arrow. That long-range CC is going to give N-rated even more tools with the ultimate from Bard as well as the active.
So a Bard can spec into many roles. He can be a combat fighter, or he can be the medic. The illustrious troll portal. You throw off your enemies off your scent. Nice see to N-rated has really mastered the Bard. No, that happens, especially if you're smart casting. Happened to me many, many times. Wasn't really that impactful, but I actually like to pick up. Usually I'm not a big fan of Mikhail's first, but against such a, I wouldn't say one-dimensional, but a composition relying on Enchanted Crystal Arrow or Petrifying Gaze, definitely a nice pickup. And he has to sit in the back and basically be a medic right now. That's what he has to do. Keep people alive, cleanse stuns, speed them up, give them a journey to escape, and kite with his Q.
Well, let's see. The Azir turret has been spawned behind SK Gaming, giving them some vision, some control. Reckless has got the Crystal Arrow available, but it is easily countered by the Crucible. Let's see what sort of zone control and how long SK opt to stay here. Minion waves pushing against them, bottom Crepo. Minion waves, I believe, pushing towards Fnatic top. We'll see how that plays out in a moment or two. SK decide to cancel that siege.
Yeah, both teams don't really want to engage there because SK has the safety of their pop-up tower from Azir, and then Fnatic has their safety from their actual tower in the mid lane. Really hard to get that fight going because both of them, as we said before, they like walking backwards. They don't necessarily walking forwards unless some of the members on the other team are dead already.
And something you'd highlighted yesterday. Yellow Star and his Baron calls in the early mid game. That is a massive ultimate! The Tempered Fate catches everyone! SK have grouped up. We see N-rated knocking them up with the Fate's Call, but Reckless is in a fairly safe position. What can he do? He's firing volley after volley. The tree is down. Look at Candy Panda on the left. Both top laners have been removed from the fight, but Fnatic are in retreat. Febiven may be cut off from the rest of the team. He does seem to have the positioning, and Febiven was not in that team fight. I think Fnatic relatively well played to come out in that 1-for-1, but what a great initiation from N-rated.
This was a really solid opening by N-rated, but if we get to replay later, I think we can highlight something that shows SK isn't super experienced with this play, but we can get back to that later. Fnatic comes out 1v1, loses a tower. That's enough. Are they going to translate this? Now I want you to watch N-rated, and I want to see if he actually gets his Q off, because he gets a beautiful opening. Again, either they juke forward and they die, or they get hit. N-rated is setting up for a beautiful double stun, but nope, because Candy Panda pulls him back in, and this really throws him off guard, and they don't get the fight they want, because now Huni comes in and starts peeling, and he does what Freddy is doing at the other side, and Reckless, he managed to escape there, and I think that's a little bit of miscommunication by SK, and they should definitely hold on to let Bard launch his Q.
Well, for everybody at home, that was an LCS Bard play if ever I've seen one. Fnatic now unable to stop the following dragon, and SK secured that one rapidly. Third dragon of the game, gold, as close as it is to even. One tower and 2 dragons. SK have got the objective advantage.
And what a fantastic game so far. Definitely better than I could have imagined, honestly, and props to N-rated. often gets a lot of, you know, complaints or maybe critique that he's not the best laner, not the best mechanics. Shallow champion pool, but he picks up arguably the best support in the league right now with Bard, and he's doing phenomenal.
I was one of his biggest critics towards the end of the spring split, and I didn't see this level of performance from Enrated for a number of games. And again, just showing up. First time Bard in the summer split, despite a few cosmic findings, those Qs not connecting. The ultimate, the Tempered Fate, which is arguably more difficult to land, he's connecting multiple.
I like to hope it's difficult to land, else I was playing an easy champion. But no, he's playing phenomenal, and he's not afraid to make the engage, and that's what I really like. Playing on the stage without fear of failure is something you really have to do if you want to become a top team, and definitely showing it here.
And the added pressure of bouncing back from the defeat yesterday on SK's shoulders, on Candy Panda, who, again, is going to be measured against Forgiven because he's replaced him.
Here we go again.
7-0-2. Tempered Fate this time does not connect. Definition of caster curse. But Fnatic were able to kite away from it.
There's a certain distance you have to cast the ability, and other than that, later in the game, with so much move speed, especially on a champion like Ashe with the Zeal and the tier 2 boots, it becomes very dodgeable. And it's really hard to find an ideal sweet spot. So definitely nice that the SK keeps trying, because there's very little opportunity cost. They don't lose too much. They just lose the Bard ulti. Yes, they could lose it for a fight, and if Fnatic can capitalize on that by a Baron here, but I like that SK is trying. I really like it. Don't sit back farming, because Fnatic eventually, they will outmacro you.
Wow, Enrated, not yet level 11, 110-second cooldown on that Tempered Fate. Decent length of time that Fnatic have to play with, that window of opportunity when they're not afraid. We do see a teleport coming into the middle lane, but they've already killed Svenskeren in the blink of an eye.
And there's no teleport on Freddy, because Huni doesn't have his teleport either, and this is gonna get really ugly.
Going to get ugly indeed. You can see on the picture-in-picture, Holo. Enrated, no Tempered Fate, it's on cooldown. Rest of SK doing what they can. The Baron's been picked up. Fox has gone all the way in. This time the Shurima shuffle sends him back to the pit. And we do see Enrated as well as Freddy on a magical journey. Huni, Fox, they want to go for it. We do see Enrated getting pulled back by the Fate's call. And all of a sudden, Fnatic have got 2 kills in the Baron buff after catching Sven in his own jungle.
And just as I say that there's no opportunity cost for using that Tempered Fate, Fnatic goes for the Baron because they see Freddy on the bot lane, and because they're so good at tracking cooldowns, they know Freddy did not have teleport. They started that Baron, they forced Svenskeren to face check, caught him out. Definitely snowballing the pressure here. Fnatic bouncing back from an extremely rough early game, but somehow they do it again.
Yeah, they definitely do. They've got the top inner turret. They're setting their sights on the middle inner turret. Mega Gnar's going to time out for Huni, but I don't think SK can put up enough of a defense to stop this one from going down. And Fnatic, once again, arrest control of the game. It was SK's for a while, it was Fnatic's for a while. It's traded back and forth. We'll see who's going to get control of this next dragon, which will be coming up in a few minutes' time.
Both teams can be proud of their early game performance, in my opinion.
Thanks, Dad.
You're welcome. Let's see.
That messed with the flow a little bit, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, who cares?
Let's touch on the QSS. Not only does Enrated have that Crucible, but now Candypan has got his own defense. Got that Quicksilver Sash picked up. I think Reckless is sitting on 3,000 gold. There or thereabouts. He's going to pick himself up a lot of juicy items. As you can see it being spent. Rainover got a ton of gold to spend as well. Fnatic going to set their sights probably on that bottom inner turret.
A lot of respect from Fnatic as well. Usually when you see Baron picked up, things go quick. Your 2 towers start falling left and right, and here just get exposed. Take 1 tower, rotate, set up some vision. Very, very slow Baron. One could argue inefficient, but I'd just say respect for SK's lineup here. And Fnatic feels like time speaks into their favor, and they want to get into positions where they have high expected value.
And it's also, this is a slightly different style for Fnatic in summer, because in spring, I agree with you, they would have just been all in. They would have been using it, would have been rushing down. But now that, you know, I think they're coming to grips with their aggressive style, it's just reeling it back. Make sure they got control of the bucking bronco that is SK. Keep it under control, keep the reins in their hand, and then take the objectives.
QSS again, on Candy Panda. He can dodge the arrow. Rendering the Mikhail's quasi-useless, I guess, but can be used on other targets.
Well, let's see how this next engage plays out. We've just ticked over 30 minutes, guys. 5,500 gold ahead of Fnatic after being even for so long.
So I don't think Fnatic's actually going to go for the tower. They just want to keep pushing in SK, making them believe, and then back off. And this point right here, where Fevin's walking right here, that's the choke point where you want to punish SK. You can't let them get through that. If you can hold them there, force them to move around, or on the choke point where Fox is right now, that's those 2 points where Fnatic wants to hold the enemy down, if they can.
And something else that we've not touched on really at all is Svenskjern's item build. Luden's Echo, Magus and Sean. He's gone full AP mid-elite for all of that poke, juicy poke, siege control damage. And we'll see whether or not he can connect onto Fnatic's champions.
Nice rotational play. They recognize the choke points on SK side, so they push in mid-force Fnatic to react to the mid lane. Then Fnatic, SK moves in first to the dragon. Enchanted goes to arrow.
Wow, there we go. Candy Panda instantly QSS's that one away. I think he got caught by the Crucible as well. Huni, it's going to go Mega Gnar, but he's dropped already. Unable to channel his ultimate. That's a 4-man knocker from Yellowstar, and the Petrifying Gaze catches onto Freddy. Candy Panda forced to flash defensively. Now we see the journey. Everybody's going through it. 2 kills for Febiven as they're trying to chase down the retreating SK. 1 for 3. Reckless, can he find the volley? It's going to slow in Rater, but nobody else will continue the chase. I totally lied to you. There comes Yellowstar from the side, and Rater's in trouble. That's a headbutt pulverized onto Candy Panda. Raynova decides to peel away, and Candy Panda and Rater get away with their lives. Fnatic get 3 kills, and they're going to convert the turret after the chase.
Absolutely massive AoE on Fnatic's side there. Let's see that again. Let's see what happens. The arrow comes out, immediate QSS. Let's see if QSS of Mikhail's is used as well. Yep, double Mikhail's and QSS. Nicely spot by you, Trevor there. Huni goes in, barely dies, so you'd think this goes bad for Fnatic. Look at that, the bar ulti also takes out Ashe and Cassiopeia, but there's so much damage, so much AoE. Quadra combo, knock up from Rainover, AoE from Febiven, and Reckless to finish it all off. Beautifully executed fight, and just makes you wonder what would happen when Huni actually transformed and got Gnar ulti off too. I think props to Rated for landing that Tempered Fate, kept 2 carries out of the fight, but they should have disengaged. Once the zero ulti is down, you have to get out of there if you don't have any kills on the back of that one.
And Rated had a great ultimate. Yellowstar had an even better headbutt. 4 members of SK knocked into the air, and then I think Febiven, the fact that he petrified Candy, so integral.
This is why Yellowstar is lauded as one of the best supports in Europe, because that's a game-winning play right there.
Well, Fnatic still have to get over final hurdle. Well, final few hurdles, in fact, to get to the Nexus, but they've got a strong enough lead. They've got the tools available to them, especially if you're going to QSS and Mikhail's the single spell, even more so. If the Crucible had been saved for Candy Panda's Petrifying Gaze, what woulda, coulda, shoulda been?
Yeah, with a 9,000 gold lead, you can afford some fancy shoes to get over those hurdles, though. It's going to be a lot easier for Fnatic right now.
And keep an eye on...
Teleport coming in.
Well, let's see what Huni can do. The Crystal Arrow is saved by the Fate's Call, but Sven is a little caught out. Huni's zoning, Yellowstar's zoning, but Febiven's the one in trouble. He's going to throw down that Archangels, and he's going to survive. Candy Panda's the next target. Febiven with a double kill. The chimney lands on Svenskjern as he transforms back to human to try to chase. Huni now looking for more. Gnar is available. He misses once more. This is not Huni from day one, but he lands the house again. We do see Fox channeling up another tower, but it's just going to be a little more gold in Fnatic's coffers as we see Fnatic barreling down the middle lane with 2 more kills after a successful teleport play.
What fantastic team fight. Huni goes down!
Holo. Fox
this
says no.
no.
Sniping from afar with the Conquering Sands. There are some in the Oceanic region that would say that damage was disgusting.
It was indeed. Let's see, Reckless maybe caught here, has to flash.
Wow, Yellowstar's now the man that's in trouble, taking a ton of soldier attacks. We do see the Luden's Echo procs, and Fox says you shall not pass go, you shall not spend your gold without punishment, and Baron has just spawned 2 members of Fnatic down.
Not even sure if that's worth the flash. You kill the support that all you had to base while you're about to attempt the Baron. Yes, it looks fancy, but you need that flash in the fight.
Well, we'll find out if they do need it. We do see Rek'Sai being played by Reynova. He's moved his way in. Baron is down. Look at the HP on the bottom left of your screen, guys. Reckless, Enchanted Crystal Arrow, but it hits the tree. He's been crucibled. Baron down to 3,000. It's going lower. Reynova's gone in, but he doesn't get it. It's actually secured by Fox. But what about the fight? Emperor's Divide is going to lock people out, but Reynova, he's soloed the mid lane. He's picked up a double. Reckless has got one more of his own as Candy Pan is trying to reply. The magical journey will not get anyone a magical life. And Fnatic ace SK Gaming.
How does Fnatic keep doing this every time again? But one thing I want to highlight is miscommunication on Candy Panda and Enrated side. You see Enrated posturing. Maybe you don't play the champion enough, but you saw him looking for a Q, and Candy Panda just pulls him back again, back into his Pokeball, and he just really didn't want to go there. He was Pikachu Season 1 right there, and they need to work more together.
Yeah, the problem is they were thrown right into Ash, who was happy to catch him and kill him and take him down in the Baron pit. Towers down in the top and middle lane. Inhibitors will follow shortly, and Fnatic are in absolute control of the first matchup against SK.
Yeah, and the Mikhails and Maokai not really needed. If your tank gets hit and stunned, you don't really care. You don't need the damage on Baron. If they're going to hit him, so be it. It's a Maokai, he can survive it. But a lot of growth from SK. We're highlighting some negative points, but they're much more minute compared to how well they have been playing in this game. Starting that Baron took a lot of guts. It worked out, they got it, but they just need to learn when to go back, when to disengage, when to take that magical journey into safety. Let's watch that again. Arrow onto Maokai. I don't think he needs the Mikhails. He can just stand there. They're getting low from the Baron. And Raiden was walking up to Peel, but he gets pulled out. And yeah, Reignover is just taking down Fox. Fox gets everybody out, but Reignover was buried under the wall, and Reckless basically gets more time with the Zhonya's. Fnatic cleaning up.
Fantastic fight once again. I do want to reiterate what you were saying though, Crepo. SK definitely showing some improvement, and just a little bit of maybe communication difference between Candy and Rated, which is something that will improve with time.
That is true, and Bora, Yellow Star rather, wasn't in that fight at all, so it makes you wonder, was it worth for Fox to use his flash to kill the support? Fox died with Reignover hitting him. He could have flashed out of the Baron. He could have maybe done a fancy Shurima shuffle. Who knows? It looks nice to capitalize on a Baron, but late game you don't want to trade your flash for a support kill. Not when you're contesting an objective. But these are all very small things, easy to spot from the caster seat. I know how hard it is to make those decisions on the fly in the game, and that's why I have so much respect for Fnatic, because rough early game, rough mid game, but now suddenly we're 9,000 gold ahead. Challenge 2 Barons. Pushing in for the third and final inhibitor.
Yeah, got super minions almost on the steps of SK's middle lane. A big wave pushing in the top lane of those supers, going to be buffing one another up. And we'll find out if that no flash Fox, what will the Fox do under the tower? The last remaining inhibitor. Enchanted Crystal Arrow is up, QSS is up, Mikhails is up. And we need to see those used slightly more effectively, slightly more in tune if SK want to hold on long enough.
What will the Fox say when Fnatic goes for that third and final inhibitor?
Oh, Fnatic are trying to ring ding ding on the door and make their way in.
Okay, we're done with these references. Yellow Star's tanking the tower.
Right, we do see Tempered Fate. It only catches Reckless, and nobody from SK is willing to commit. Yellow Star interrupts, and the arrow does go wide. That's not going to go through the goalposts that Fnatic were looking for. But look, super minions are inside the base. As soon as someone goes to deal with them, Fnatic will have the advantage.
That's the problem. Yes, you'll land an engage on Reckless, but do you really want to walk into Mega Gnar and a Cassiopeia with Petrifying Gaze? I don't think so. So nice ID by SK, but the wrong timing. You don't want to fight Huni and Mega Gnar because counter engage potential is too damn high. Well,
we did see Candy Panda trying to deal with the super minions on the Nexus turret. Nexus turret will in fact be falling. I believe it's going so low. Huni goes Mega Gnar, so that's at least a cooldown that SK can be slightly less afraid of, but successful siege for Fnatic because they get the tower.
Yes, at the same time successful defense for SK. Dropping only an Nexus tower on with 2 inhibitors exposed is a sacrifice you might be willing to make at this point in the game.
Well, got no real choice either. If you're in SK's position, there's still 9,000 gold down. We're about to hit 40 minutes. 3 dragons to 3, 9 towers to 5. But a lot more competitive this game than what we saw from day one. Both of the teams having strong points at different times.
Yeah, while a lot of people were quick to draw conclusions from day one, it does show you that things can vary, and we'll have to wait for weeks 2 and 3 to really see what teams fall into patterns and what teams may have just had an off day, because SK showed up, and this is definitely not the SK of yesterday.
Yeah, we just flew past. Farm alarm, but there's nothing to farm.
Champions, Trevor.
Oh, we'll
farming champions at this point.
3-2 and 13 on Reignover's Rek'Sai. 16 of his team's 19 kills. I know everyone talks about Huni, everyone is excited about Reckless, but the real star is Reignover. He consistently shows up every single game.
He's the glue that ties it all together, in my opinion. Especially early in the Fnatic days as well, where he spoke English a lot better than Huni, and he translated for his Korean comrade, and he, together with Yellowstar, carried that team environment. They were the link, you know, Yellowstar to carry Reignover, the translator for Huni, and they worked together, and impressive what they could have done, because if you go back to Worlds before Super Hot Royal Club, as we say, all the time, they were the exception to the rule of having foreign players and do well. All the other mixed nationalities didn't do well. Think of the likes of CLG with Seraph. Didn't go too well. Communication issues left and right. Fnatic, they seem to find a solution for that.
Found a way to work through it. It was great hearing the story of how Yellowstar made friends with Reignover while Fnatic was in Korea for Worlds last year. And then through the discussions, agreed to bring both Huni and Reignover in. What a great investment. I mean, you cannot replicate this, but sometimes it just works. Reckless actually said in the video, right at the beginning of the game, it's just something about his time on Elements that didn't click. You know, all the ingredients can add up to a chocolate cake, but if something is off, something is sour, it's very difficult to pinpoint exactly what.
Your support in Elements is always eating that chocolate cake. It's quite difficult. Let's get back to the game. The Fnatic waiting for Baron to spawn, 25 seconds. Again, that's what they're doing. There's no pressure.
And respect for SK. Yep. The first Baron, which Fnatic picked up, you know, Kripa, you were saying it was a little bit of a tempered usage of it, you know, controlling their pace. But look at the map now.
They're
there's a possibility of flanking. There's a teleport for Huni.
Phase 6 about. Yellowstar's going to punish that. He's going to get away. Nice flanking by Fnatic. They don't want to all go at the same time, and yeah, they're going back, as you point out on the minimap. Gnar on the bot lane. Huni split pushing. He's going to draw them away and tell SK, no, we're not. Fnatic's telling SK right now, we're not going to start this Baron. Please send somebody to Huni. We're definitely not going to go for it. Or, if you try to contest, you're going to lose your inhibitor. And do you really want to lose another inhibitor, SK?
We're about to find out. One quick thing to note is we've hit 42 minutes. Cassiopeia has hit 500 stacks.
Here's Huni,
massive. The Ash Arrow catches on Svenskera. There's no Crucible nearby to save him. Febiven gets another kill on the board as Huni is cosmically binded in place. Enrated's trying to get away as Yellowstar's got the Righteous Glory movement speed up. He's not going to get the movement debuff onto SK, but it's not needed. Look, minions on the top lane, minions on the bottom lane, Fnatic on the Baron, and it's all on SK. What are they going to do?
And they managed to find the right pick every time. They take out the jungler.
Oh, they do manage to stop Febiven and Reckless, and SK have picked this fight. Baron was secured by Fnatic. There's minions in the picture-in-picture. Everybody is dying for SK Gaming. Freddy will be the next one to fall, and Fox is on the wrong side of the river. He does shut down Febiven, though, as his poison will tick over for the triple kill. Fnatic have got minions aplenty, damage galore, and they should be knocking on the Nexus door.
Just gonna let that breathe. But Fnatic, they managed to find one pick, and it's the crucial one on the jungler. Once Smite is out of the equation, they can safely start that Baron, ruin SK. They have to contest this. They had no choice, and now they have no Nexus, Trevor.
There is no Nexus, and Fnatic go 2-0 in week 1. Conceding SK 2 losses in week 1.
But we were entertained.
The amount of relief on Yellowstar's face as he stood up. They had to dig deep and work hard for that victory. Everybody's heart was pumping, Bora. That was a great performance, but I think...
Props to SK too.
I really feel the same. I was very, very worried for SK yesterday. I was very worried for Candy Panda, but much like Steve from Roccat, Candy just bounced back, shows the caliber of his play, his abilities. A little bit of miscommunication with the Bard. It's an intricate champion to work with.
But that's very, very minor. You know, I'm only noticing that because I've played the champion so many times. But SK can leave today with their head held high. They put up a phenomenal performance. pretty nice drafting phase. Not what you usually used to seeing in the EU LCS, and a nice lost Bard pick. And as much as we're trolling about and joking, it did work, and they had some really nice engages.
Completely agree.
And Fnatic had to fight for this one, and it is not often that Fnatic has to fight for a game.
Coming into this week, I had expected a little more Bard. We had discussed extensively the tools of his kit, and especially when seeing Ashe. I mean, Febiven 11-5-6. Maybe that's part of the reason they are where they are.
Because they're not happy with this victory.
If you can look like that because you are 11-5-6 and won the game, stay hungry, guys. That's how you win. Don't settle for just being in the LCS.
Touching back on the Bard, I believe by week 4, this is actually me judging the pick, that he actually be higher ranked and come in, especially with Alistar rising to the top. I think we're going to see more Alistar bans, and people will have to look for another solution unless people start flexing Morgana a lot more. But we'll see about that in future. Definitely as you said, the player reactions from Fnatic after this game, they did not look happy, and Daylor is like, hey guys, we won, happy face. But
it's something on the European LCS that I particularly enjoy watching, is how teams celebrate in what ways, because a lot of players are very subdued. A lot of players, you sort of know the result a few minutes ahead of time if you've got a strong enough lead. And you could see how relieved Fnatic were. We also caught a glimpse of Fox on Azir, who, by the way, dealt the most damage to champions in the game out of everybody. And I thought his Azir was fantastic.
Yep, he did well.
But there was just a lot of tools from Fnatic to get around the wall, to find the flank. It felt like Fnatic could always flank SK.
It's because you're playing a one-tank composition, and if you look at the difference in support, yes, Bard is nice, but Alistar, he can just hover around on his own, and he has no risk of getting caught, because if he does, he pops the Unbreakable Will. Reignover is very mobile, tunneling under all these walls and getting around the sides, and then they have a lot of vision control. Not only is Fnatic really good at warding, they have the new Ashe with double Hawkshot coming out, so they're always in control. Fnatic is a team that plays well with information, and they have a way of getting a lot of information at the same time, so that makes them a very worthy opponent to play against. But if you go back to the early game, SK, they did well, and that definitely surprised me. They forced Fnatic into a position where they were forced to make errors, right? We had that bout where Reckless was farming in the top lane solo against the Maokai as Ashe. If that's where the game is going, you don't really want that. Was the best solution for Fnatic, but definitely a good strategic play by SK Gaming so far.
Very, very interesting game. One that's going to be talked about on Reddit a lot, I am for sure. But that does mean Fnatic are 2-0 on the week. It does mean SK, they do bounce back. We'll need to see how both of the respective teams adapt in the following week. For now, though, we're going to throw it over to the analyst desk to take a look at how Fnatic went 2-0 to start their split.
Thank you very much, Quick Shot. And joining us is, of course, Yellowstar from Fnatic after a 2-0 week for you guys, which, well, for us, it was really nice to see that you guys, even after MSI, seem to have gotten even better. How does it feel for you just knowing that, especially UOL and now SK Gaming, the team's also in the top in the spring split, you seem to have the upper hand?
It feels really great. I mean, the opening match against Unicorns of Love went really smooth, but this time, like against SK Gaming, we had a harder time. They played really well the early game, and then we had a ton of mistakes, but they managed to capitalize, and then, yeah, they had the upper end, and it was really hard to come back.
Yeah, quite hard from the early game on. And of course, the Bard pick coming out there. Quite, well, impressive moves from and rated early. Talk to me about how you, of course, as a support and probably knowing the champion quite well, play against that and the opportunity for counterplay, of course, as well.
Yeah, Bard is really efficient in lane swap, I think. He offers a lot of mobility, and then they were catching around with Nidalee, Bard with the tunnels and stuff. So it was really hard for Fabian to play mid. Yeah, they managed to set up vision, take early objectives, and it was really well played from them.
I completely agree. There was one point, I think it was about 9 minutes into the game, where N-Rated clears the entire bottom jungle of Reignover's tunnels and wards. So I completely agree with what you were saying. And one thing I want to highlight in this game, it's a long time since we've seen Nidalee in the European LCS. I think Svenskeren's Nidalee early game did such a good job of keeping the pressure on. So full credit to Svenskeren there. Reignover managed to find his feet towards the end, but it certainly came from a few crucial team fights.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's get one of those team fights up on the screen where you guys were very much getting back in the game, and you had a fantastic Alistar headbutt pulverize. We can start the clip and you can tell us your perspective and who you have to
So this is the third reg or fourth?
It's going to be the fourth for SK if they get it.
So we cannot let them. So we decide to fight, and then we just go slowly. So here we're like just saying that we have to go for Drake, but they engage the fight. So we are waiting for Mega Gnar, but he gets one shot before. And I see a really good opportunity to just knock up 4-man. And then I call for Azir, and then he just dies by Rek'Sai. And then we just roll up, and yeah, I mean, we just kill everyone else.
you do. Very nice, Pulverize.
So many positives from this game for both teams, I think, actually, when you look at it. You guys on Fnatic, you're playing a bit of a different style. With the Ashe, a lot of primary engage coming from Reckless to set things up. Over on the side of SK, so different from what we saw in yesterday's games. Candy Panda, he finished 8-3-4 in today's game. Looks a lot better than yesterday's game. So a lot of maybe bright futures for both Fnatic and SK for
Yeah,
Summer.
were you, as you of course saw the game from SK yesterday, so were you caught off guard by the moves that they pulled out in this one? Day and night difference.
Not really. We expected them to be more solid, and here Kalista got a lot of kills early game, and we know that she's prone to be like really snowbally, and if she gets like 2-3 kills, then it's really hard to deal with her, especially if we don't have like a lot of stuns, and so that's why we just have to farm up and just go for late team fights.
Yeah, well, you guys held your own, and of course, we've heard a lot about, well, from Reckless himself, the different way that he looks at the game now and that he plays now that he's back with Fnatic. He kind of has found his own. How do you notice that as being, of course, his ex-partner and now his new dual lane partner?
He's willing to cooperate way more with his teammates, and yeah, I mean, he has to fill the spot that was empty, and then, I mean, he's working really well with us so far.
Yep, well, it definitely shows. Congratulations, 2-0 for Fnatic, also in the summer split. More of the same for them. As for us, we need to take a break, but when we return, it's a clash of old versus new as Elements take on the Unicorns of Love. Stay with us.
It's a really smooth game, guys. Nice and smooth, yeah? Nice and smooth. Nice and smooth. Nice and smoothie.
Like Rainover with the ladies.
Wow.
Stuns him against the wall. This is a battle on two fronts. Enraged's low. Candy Panda and Sven get knocked up in the air while Rainover is pulling all of the attention. That is a massive. The Tempered Fate catches everyone. SK have grouped up. We see Enraged knocking them up with the Fate's Call, but Reckless is in a fairly safe position.
Nice. Nice.
Push hour. He's picked up a double. Reckless has got one more of his own as Candy Pan is trying to reply. The magical journey will not get anyone a magical life. Baron was secured by Fnatic. There's minions in the picture-in-picture. Everybody is dying for SK Gaming. Fnatic go 2-0 in week 1.